Am I the asshole for staying true to my threats after my dad died? My dad died unexpectedly last week and my sister Jess and I lost our mom last year to a mix of cancer and the virus. From how our family acted in the past over scavenging over dead people's things, both Jess and I decided to send out a family memo on no one is to enter or take anything from our parents' house until we get there. Both Jess and I work on the West Coast, so it takes some time to get there with all of our kids and family. I saw several notifications from my parents' Ring doorbell and I'm a lawyer. I reminded my family we will prosecute. Jess and I are on the same page. Jess gets to my parents' house first and notices stuff is missing, and my parents had security cameras and an Alexa show. It showed my cousin taking stuff from the house. So Jess did what we agreed on and called the police, and 2 of our cousins was arrested. Because it was over $1,000, both are looking at felonies. My cousin said my dad promised him this stuff and I have my dad's will making me executor of the estate. I told him he should have waited to file a claim with estate, and everyone was warned about what would happen. Jess and I don't have the best relationship with our extended family and we are not dropping charges. Because of this drama, Dad was quietly cremated with no service, and we plan to hold one when scattered our parents' ashes at Jess's house in a tree planted for them. My last living grandma is upset about it, but she sided with my cousins and aunts, saying we are too tough on having them arrested. There is nothing quite so unedifying as the rush by distant family members to grab what they can when someone dies. Definitely not the asshole. They did with my grandpa, and then my mother came out right after her death asking my dad for things. Disgusting behavior. You and your sister are absolutely in the right, I'm so sorry. My great-uncle didn't even wait until his own mother was cold before he was stomping through her house demanding her wedding ring be given to his wife. I wasn't too upset at his funeral, let me tell you. So your dad had a will naming you the executor and your relatives decided to steal from your dad's estate. Not the asshole. Exactly. Even if the deceased did want them to have those items, they're not theirs to take until the executor of the will says so. Because until the executor goes through everything, who knows, they might have to be sold to settle the estate's debts, or something. And 99.9% of the time that claim is complete bullshit. I had relatives do this too. Oh, your grandpa told me he wanted me to have his van. I just looked them dead in the eye and said, what a shame that he didn't write that down, lost their numbers, and moved on with my life. Not the asshole my advice? Follow through with the charges and use this opportunity to remove these people from your life permanently. Don't give a single thing or a single penny to anyone in the extended family that you are not on good terms with. It is not up to original poster to withhold stuff left to them in will. But I suppose he is aware of estate executor responsibilities, especially that he is a lawyer. The way it reads, original poster's father promised them things. This is probably a lie, and likely just a verbal understanding that original poster has zero reason to respect. Original poster says their family is LC after relatives pilfering the homes of other dead people. Not the asshole your dad created a will and made you the executor of the estate for a reason. If your cousins were actually meant to have the thousands of dollars worth of items they took, they could have waited until you arrived. It sucks that they got arrested, but the first thing on their minds when losing a relative shouldn't be, I should take items from their house, or, I'm owed these items, let me go collect. Plus you and your sister gave advanced warning, so it's not like you just randomly decided to call the police. It's ghastly that it crosses their minds at all. Agreed. Quite a few relatives have crossed over and I never had the thought to go to their houses to collect their belongings. My mom gave me one of my grandma's rings, because that's what she wanted, but I never asked or rushed the process. The only thing I've ever asked for, a few weeks after the funeral, was my older brother's favorite sweater. Even then I didn't ask multiple times or complain when I didn't get it. Material objects don't define us. Our memories and love live on forever. Not the asshole. You did the exact right thing. That was breaking and entering, and anybody supporting those actions should be cut from your lives entirely. Sorry for your loss and sorry your family is awful. And you warned them. Not the asshole. You stated the consequences and they ignored it. Law is law, especially when talking that much money. That's breaking and entering, not to mention stealing. This is what gets me. They know original poster is a lawyer, he sent a notice, and they still trespass to take stuff. What did they think would happen? They thought their mommy and granny would cry and original poster would say, oh, keep what you stole. I hope the cousins were arrested before they had time to sell the items. Not the asshole. From how our family acted in the past over scavenging over dead people's things, sounds like your family sees absolutely nothing wrong with stealing things from those who have passed. They need to learn that stealing from family is still stealing and still wrong. There's nothing like the law to teach them a lesson. Not the asshole. They broke in and burglarized your parents' home. Do not drop the charges. They were warned and thought you would ignore their behavior. Stay strong. I am so sorry for your losses. Not the asshole who goes through a dead person's thing before their kids get there. You would be surprised. Many families include vultures who swoop in ASAP to grab the things they want. I've seen it so many times. Not the asshole. Friggin' vultures. It was the first word I thought. Thank God we didn't have that issue when my Nana passed. She had no will and my mother was her only child. We ended up keeping the family things, crystal, china, linen, all her little ornaments and jewelry. However, the best part, Nana was a lifetime gardener and an amazing breeder of roses. The something like 300 plus rose bushes were distributed to every family in the neighborhood and all of her in-area friends. I think most of my hometown has one per every square mile. The kids who had been my neighborhood playmates were given cuttings by their parents and grandparents when they grew up and moved away, in memory of Aunt Femi, so now they're friggin' all over the Puget Sound area. Not the asshole. I had a cousin who practically cleaned out our grandmother's house. This was long before the advent of Ring doorbells or security cameras, so she got away with the theft of thousands of dollars of stolen property. Your cousins broke into a home when they could have waited for you and your sister to arrive and asked nicely for some momentous. Since your family relationships are strained already, let them stew in the pot of trouble they choose to create. People who steal from the dead are the lowest of low. Not the asshole. Nothing like a wedding or a funeral to remind you that family is just people, and people are terrible. I had to get my own attorney last time someone died in my family, not because I cared about money. There was none. But just to be sure. My stepfamily released my grandfather's stuff to me. They still got away with most of it, but I did so enjoy their distress. Not the asshole. They were warned and still decided to help themselves. They deserve the charges. Not the asshole. Deaths in the family bring out the worst in people. I can only hope that you would have otherwise been fair to them had they only been patient, but they made their choice and can face the consequences of their actions. You are the executor of your dad's estate and therefore the protector of his affairs after his death, so stand firm and don't drop the charges. Not the asshole. My MIL's sister did this within days of her sister dying. Took all kinds of mementos that I would have gladly split or made copies of. She was so nasty about it, and was really pissed that my mill had given me some 100-plus-year-old albums to keep safe at my house before she died. She knew her sister all too well. I won't even share copies of those at this point. I wish I would have prosecuted. You are not the asshole. After my mom died, my sister went to Dad's house when he was wintering in another state and took all Mom's jewelry, sterling silver, and anything she had given them as gifts over their 54-year marriage. It was for safekeeping. Anyway, my dad forced her to bring every item back. I took nothing as Mom left everything to Dad and felt I had no right to it. He later divided Mom's things to give us, but sister had no say in the division. And she was pissed. Not the asshole. You specifically instructed them not to take anything and they went ahead and did exactly that.